this will be a demo of the Paketti Groovebox 8120, and let me just set it up quickly. So I have the Akai MIDI mix right here, and I just need to put in the settings for it, and there they are. And now, so this is a 8-part Groovebox. I think you've already gathered that if you know have been looking at this channel before or these streams. So I'm gonna start sequential loading, and it helps that. Yeah, so sequential loading, and that was simply because I realized that I haven't configured this to be saying anything specific. So now I'm gonna make it load a bunch of hip hop drums, and I'm gonna start with some bass drums. So the first part will be 120 drums, kick drums basically. Then the second part will be, let's have it be some hip hop snares. There we go. As you see, I'm using the Finder to load these, so I'm just gonna load. So here's kicks, here's snares. Then the next thing that I'm gonna load is gonna be hi-hats. Let's load a bunch of hi-hats in there. The third one is gonna be, what should it be? Let's go with some claps, I guess. There's some claps, so like this. So now we have, I think, kicks, snares, hi-hats, claps. Then let's go with some percussion, maybe some perk mix. So this will be 01 to 36 to 37, and then put in some perk effects. Then we still have a bunch of places to put some stuff to, so let's try for maybe hi-hat cymbals. Let's go to this place and see what else there is. Yeah, rides, let's put in some rides. Actually, that's not a lot of rides, but it's still enough. Then let's go with, did we have, yeah, MISC isn't really, what about perk FX, snare claps? I think if I, yeah, let's go with rim shots and some house snares. There we go. And then let's skip away from dance mega drums to where would I go? Let's go with DMD. Okay, so DMD, claves and bells. Is there still some more? Okay, it's loaded all of these. So it's populated the space of 120 here, 120 here, there. And now if I start playing this, notice how when I click on this, it'll show whichever sample is selected, and it's the only one that plays. And if I now click on here, as you can see, there's a snare there, it'll show me the snare, and that's like that. So let's start. As you can see, it's 16 steps, so I can of course make it like this. So 4. Probability. Maybe I don't like this sample itself, so I'll just tweak it. So this will be tweaking it like this. And then, of course, I noticed something. I went and started the stream without going MIDI mix. So here we go. Let's try this again. So the idea here is that whatever you're changing, could go like. And the real catch here is really that, because whenever I tweak these knobs to select a different sample, it'll select that instrument. And these macros here are automatically set up by me loading these samples. So this means that this row is actually directly controllable immediately. So I've got a hi-hat playing here. Let me tweak the cutoff. Increase the resonance. Increase the drive. Parallel compression. Cutoff frequency. Cutoff amplitude. So now if I go and modify, for instance, that if I'm thinking like the drum kit doesn't really sound very good, I mean the kick drum doesn't sound. So over here I got the pitch. And then I can just go, okay. So again, so what I could do, for instance, now is I could walk you through the shrink and the expand. So in this case, let me reset this to 16. And now, as you can see, there's these notes. I'm gonna press shrink. Then I'll just filter this slightly. And then I'll be on my merry way. So let me look at the rest of it. So here's this will be 4. Let's control the pitch of it. Let's see what the sample is. Okay, so let's filter that slightly. And again, like, maybe I want to do this. I want to change the pitch of the kick drum and then just immediately go back to modifying the clap, changing the clap. So these are global for the instrument, for the part, which is kind of fun. So let's for a moment consider that, this sounds alright. Let's see. there's only the controller here that allows me for the automation and everything. So I'm just gonna load in a delay. And for this, I'm just gonna press Shift B because that's the shortcut that I'm gonna press. I think it would make sense to actually show it on Keycaster. So here's me. I want to throw in a delay. I know that it's Shift D, so I'm just going to press Shift D. And there it is. There's the delay. It's been loaded in. It's been placed into the right place. The external editor is open. It's all ready to go. And now I'm thinking like, well, maybe I want to put in a reverb too. Maybe a Valhalla Vintage verb. So Shift V. And there it is. So now I've shot in a delay and a vintage verb by just pressing Shift D or Shift V. And I just think that's really neat. So let's go back to let's go back to this. It sounds pretty quiet. And why is that? Well, let me boost it up with a Pro Cue. Let's find one that works. Let's find one that works. so I could just do random stuff. So that's a little kind of brittle demo of the Groovebox 8120. You can load any bunch of samples in there. The maximum is 120. If you look at this, you'll see that the way this actually works is by modifying the velocity. So all of these samples play at the same time, but only one of them has actual velocity. All the others are silent until you pick that one. And this has been designed to show you the sample as you go with it. And you can, of course, reverse it if you like, or reverse all of them. I believe there was a reverse there, reverse samples. So let's see what that sounds like. And it occurs to me that it makes sense for there to be a global case. So let's just demo one more thing that I did just recently, and that feature is the ever famous and slightly hidden Control O, which is the schism tracker, not necessarily an impulse tracker one, but it's impulse tracker Control O pattern to sample. So whatever I'm playing here, it will just describe it to a new sample. So new instrument actually. So let me pick this and go Control O. And now it's gonna describe it to a new sample. And there it is. And it's been selected, it's been Pakettified, so the pitch bends and everything are right there. So I can just press play on this. And pitch bend it. Run it through drive as much as I want. Do what I like. Maybe put in an inertia. So in this case, when I do something like this, pitch bend inertia will affect the sound. I can automate this control. So yeah. So what I've been showing you here is one of the things that I've been throwing in here is the load devices. So any device that you want, be it a native VST, LADSPA audio unit or whatever, you can turn it into a shortcut and you can turn it into a MIDI mapping. So all you need to do is click on this and go add device as shortcuts and MIDI mappings, click on it. And then it'll say device added, open settings keys, search for load device, or MIDI mappings and search for load device. So in this case, Valhalla frequency echo. Here's the frequency echo, load device. Just let's use this. And anywhere I am, I can put a frequency echo in. And if I'm inside a sample, inside the sample effects chain, I can just do the very same thing. And there it is. And I can hide it with the universal key that I have set up for hiding it. And that's it. So Yeah. So and to show you that it's also there as a frequent as a button too. Let me try this. I hope it's not set up to anything. So I've just learned that this button will load frequency echo. So let's see if it works. I might have it set for something else too. Frequency echo. There it is. Additionally, I'm working on something brand new. It's called the Preset Plus Plus system. And this allows you to directly have these plugins set up in such a way, or devices set up, at least native devices for now, have it set up so that it looks exactly the way you want. And here's a few Preset Plus Plus examples. Here's a high pass. So a high pass filter is a digital filter renamed, set to high pass, cutoff set to 0, and the cutoff is enabled here. So you can just go, okay, here's the plugin that I want. I need to set up a dialog for this. I need to set up a GUI for this and all this and really think about this. But the scaffolding is right there. And the really cool, nice thing that I want to show you is the LFO envelope pan. Now, a very nice person was very gracious enough to send me a request for this, for the LFO custom waveform to be enabled and to make some modifications. And then I just took the ball and ran with it. Shift P will load up a LFO bunk. The LFO is set to custom. It's set to control mixer panning. It's set to a specific speed, a specific step length, and then I just draw. So now I don't have to buy an auto panner plugin. I can just draw in my own thing. And when I'm done with it, I can just press Shift P, and well, Shift P didn't quite work how I thought it would, but basically Shift Option L will either, well, Control L will either show it or hide it. So now the only thing that I need to do is make it so that Shift P will work the way I want to, which is that if I have this device selected, I can show the external editor, start drawing, hide the external editor, and go my merry way. See, the idea here with the Preset Plus Plus is that eventually there's going to be track DSP chains that will be automatically connected to the right places. So you can just go, okay, I want a panner here, I want a panner here, I want a panner here, and then just modify them, draw them as you like, and, you know, enjoy live tracking. So here's a bunch of a few small features. I'd like to go through a bunch of other features soon, but I think this is enough for now. If you have any questions, hit up my Discord or leave a comment or anything. Get in touch with me anywhere, and let me know what you think. Thanks.